Hello everybody and welcome to Alchemy Trades. This is Host Logic. You guys have seen me in Discord quite a bit and the Alchemy Traders chat room and Cadena Hashing and general chat room. You see me post on Twitter a lot all my trades. And guys, I don't post what I do and how much I make just to brag. I post on what the bot's able to do. You know, I've posted the 1% winners that's made me $2, $3, just as well as the 10, 15, 20% winners that's made me $30, $50, okay? So it's just what this bot's able to do for you, okay? So I kind of told you I would show you what I do, how I've tweaked the bot, so we'll go into that a little bit. We're in QuickSwap because we're going to do a quick Nitro trade. You go to grid, my slippage is 0.55, I set my gas to 300,000. If you need to change it, just hit update. That's not going to be what, this is going to use. It's going to use as least as it can, but this is up to what will get the job done, okay? Good tool to kind of like gauge your gas fees is obviously on the bot itself too. But I do love this up here because once you're in the grid, you don't see this too well. Or if you're not trading, this kind of tells you what's happening with the network. You can view the chart, kind of see its history. It had a really big peak earlier. It was real expensive. It's finally coming back down now. So, you want it to be in like that 20, 30 range. It hit these 100, 200, 300 spikes, and it's just crazy to trade on the network. But, here we go. We'll kind of show you what's happening with it all, okay? Same thing with RPCs. You want to be able to add as many RPCs as you can. This is the path where it's going to do your transactions for you. If you only have one and that one's having issues because where you happen to be at's having some issues or that RPC server's down, you want to go on to cointools.app, hit your RPC server, choose your network, and then these are your RPCs. You can kind of scroll down and see which ones are kind of like crazy busy or which one's good. So what you want to do is just kind of hit refresh, choose the lowest speeds possible. It'll have the rocket next to the best one, usually to use what it would recommend. So that's how you choose this. Now, my speeds are higher because y'all know I drive a truck for a living. I work off a hotspot. I don't have the 50 megabyte per second network speeds at home. But this gets the job done for me and that works. So all you do is you hit just copy, go over to your bot, and just like you'd add a token, hit Control V, and then it would add it. A little plus sign comes up to it. Bam, there you go. You've added it now, okay? You can have as many as you want to. Doesn't matter. So that's that. So how we kind of choose our floor and a ceiling. You go to grid. We're going to start a new grid. We're obviously selecting Nitro and Ratmatic. It really is Matic. It automatically converts it to you. So we'll do 390. I'll use whatever I can. Man, I'll tell you, I look at like the overall market, but then you see what Matic has done recently, and it just went crazy. I mean, Matic went up like 30%, so heck yeah, I took like well over half of what I had that I usually trade with, and I cashed out of it for a little bit, because, geez, that's a good increase just by itself. So what we'll do when we go into Deck Screener, we find our floor and our ceiling. So what I do, I'll blow this a little bit so we can see it. I'll look at the 4-hour chart to see what in the world's going on with Nitro lately. It had this huge crash down after a big, nice, steady increase. We like to see it in this range right here. That's how we like to see it. And it's finally kind of getting back to that a little bit. But this kind of tells you over the last days what's happened to it. And if any of us been in this thing right here, we caught it. We've done really, really well with this. So we love that. But this just gives you the overall picture what's happening with it. You go down to hourly and you can see, yes, it is indeed trading in a window. So I'll put, you just kind of come over here, select your trend line, pop a trend line where you think it's going to be at, and I like to usually have blue and a solid line for my floor and my ceilings, and I'll kind of hit where it's touched the most at on the top, and then where it respects the floor at as my floor right here. So as many places, it's kind of like come down here, stayed above, was doing good here, then it pulled back down here, so this will kind of like be the floor area that I'll choose to start the trade with. Stop loss is usually either past the recent pullback, like it's pulled back down to here, hasn't really come past it. I like to put my stop loss a little bit past it, nothing too crazy, but enough to where, I don't want it to come hit it, trigger the stop loss either. So that's how I choose my floor and my ceiling settings. RSI is a good tool to use. You just go to indicators, type in literally RSI, choose the first one on there, and this will pop up. This is good because it kind of tells you when it's overextended. If it jumps above that 75, 80 mark, it is just overextended. It's probably going to come back down. You want it to be in like that around 50-ish neighborhood or a little bit over 50. That just means that the trade's doing well and it's going to be kind of doing what you want it to do a little bit, okay? Let's go to the 15-minute chart for your entry. This is where a lot of people have their issues at. You really want to kind of start down here in this area where it's at, so it comes straight up. You don't want to start up here, okay? If it's in the middle, that's where this dotted line is, where it's been trading around it quite a bit. You know, it's been trading here a lot, came back down, came back up. Now it's trading in this area a little bit. As long as it's in this area here, touching this yellow line where it's trading a lot, you can go ahead and start the bot, because it'll just do a lot of buys and sells, buys and sells. That's what you want it to do. It's better to start down here. That's the goal of the idea. I mean, I have a couple of trades going right now. This is like up like a 0.5% right here. Nothing crazy, but you know, it's something that's going on. Time USD, because it's had some massive runs up, pull back down, massive run up, pull back down, and then I think I got into it like right here, and it's been doing its thing here. So what you kind of want to do is just get an idea of what's happening with your chart, okay? You do want to kind of hit it as low as you possibly can, but I told you I'd start a trade with you today, so that's what we're going to do, okay? So our floor reset is 0.02635. So come in 0.02365. And our ceiling we chose was 0.2825. If you don't have a whole lot to trade with, I'm going to show you this right here, 0.0285, I think is what I said, right? 0.02825, okay. Sorry, fingers are horrible here. Alright, so these are the settings that we wanted to find, but this is the trick to it, okay? You want to have as many grids as you possibly can. I like to trade with 15 grids. That's 15, so that'll work for me. I'll choose 15. If you can't find 15 grids and you want to kind of raise your ceiling up a little bit because you think it's going up, you want your ceiling to be up is better. Stop loss, this is the key. Everybody asks me, how do I not blow my count up? 0.02597, so 0.0259, well, let's do 5 is fine. That's how I do not blow my account up, because if it has that big crash down, I always add a stop loss in every trade. I try to keep it relatively tight, around like, 1 to 2%. So the movement here is 0.0003. Proper grid is 0.04 cents. That sounds good. Let's start the grid. Get it going. It's submitting transactions, awaiting confirmation, and transaction completed. Here comes the grid. I would prefer to start it at the floor again, because that way you kind of have nothing but up to go here. But again, I told you I would trade, because where it makes its money at is these buying and sellings. That's where you want it to do its magic at, okay? And how you know that is you go onto Polyscan, and I'll hit the refresh button to see what's going on here. As you can see, I just kind of like bought into it like crazy here recently. But what you want to see is when I started running it earlier, I think I made like $9, $10 in this last one before I ended it to start this video, is it bought in here, and you'll see it buys, does it sells, buys and sells. If you see this happening periodically, every so often, 1 hour 43 minutes, 1 hour 32 minutes, 1 hour 26, this is the bot buying and selling doing its thing. You want to see that. As long as you see that, you know what's going on, you know it's doing what it's supposed to do. That's all that matters, okay? So here you'll see its next grid up is 0.0276. So literally 0.0276. If it hits to this point right here, it's going to do its next buy. If it drops down a little bit, my next grid down is 0.0270. So you look for 0.270. That's going to be when it buys again, when it hits to this range here. So as long as it's going up and down here, buying and selling, that's fine, That's exactly what you want it to do. To start a grid on, let's say, Avalanche, for example, let's look at Egg, for example. This is a trade that I think I want to get into as well, too. The reason is because we look at this 4-hourly chart. We've seen it had this massive push up, this massive push back down, but it really respects this. It's hit this several times, acting as resistance. Now it's acting as support. So we think this has got a good chance of, this is going to probably work out really nicely. So we go into our hourly, selected our floor and our ceiling, our stop loss again, because if we're wrong, we don't want to be too wrong, don't want to blow the account up, so that's where we choose. We run into the 15-minute window, open it up a little bit so we can see our trading range, and then bam, here we are. We can kind of see what's going on with it, what's happening with this particular trade. Now, if you're not sure about this, I do want you guys to use the Google Docs that's in the pinned comments of the chat room, because, people that have been using this bot for a long time, we've researched the tokens, we're trading those tokens, they've got comments, a star rating system. Use that, it's very, very beneficial. Don't just go hunting off on your own, But if you want to kind of know how it works or is this going to work or not, use this honeypot detector that we have. I just keep it shortcut. There's a link in the same thing in our pinned comments for this. This is an ABAX token. You just copy and paste the token contract address, hit submit, and then it's going to do its little research and kind of find out what's happening with this token. It'll do a quick buy and sell, so you can get in and get out of this token with no problem. You want to look for some important things. There's no sell tax or buy tax that would cost you to do anything in particular, but so Maze is definitely a good person to ask any of these good questions with. There's a lot of intelligent, really smart people that are in the chat rooms all the time. Of course, you see Alchemy, Surge there. You'll see Deep, Pocket Aces. Really good thank you to Pocket Aces. He's actually the person that got me into Alchemy, got me in a couple of the cool DeFi projects. So I really wanted to thank him for getting me in here. I think I found a really good home. I definitely think this is a project that's going to really show me what I'm able to do and going to give me the tools to literally be able to work more part-time, be home more. So there's a product and a tool that's going to get you a little bit more financial freedom and to get a good journey started on trading. This is a place to do it. This is a community to do it in. If you guys have any questions, hey, hit me up in the chat room, hit me up in Twitter. You guys know I work 14 hours a day, so DM me on Twitter. I can see that a little bit easier. I check Discord as often as I can, but I'm always in the chat room after work every day. So I appreciate everybody. If you have any questions, again, give me a holler. Thanks, guys.